My name is Jack Davis, and this is my Road to Positive Living uh, book project. So, for the first chapter, the first topic we talked about is mindset, a fix versus growth. And for myself, I'm definitely in between, but definitely more now leaning towards a growth mindset. When I was not mentally well, as well as going through a more turbulent time in my life, I definitely had a very much a fixed mindset. According to the course, someone with a fixed mindset thinks that they can't change and that our abilities are predetermined. They cannot be changed. And especially when I was very much in that negative headspace, I shrank away from challenges. I stopped kind of trying and putting in effort because my mindset was, what's the point of me putting in this effort? I know, well, I thought I knew what the results would be, which wasn't a good grade, or I thought wouldn't be a good grade, and it would be, why bother? Now, however, I really I love a challenge, whether it is in school or life. I love being able to find creative ways to solve that challenge, as well as I know now that it really is better to at least try for this goal I have than just not try at all. And that's where a quote from Paul Rhodes, played by Harrison Ford on one of my favorite TV shows, Shrinking. And the quote is, if you're not growing, you're not living. And especially um, thinking about to that negative time in my life, that was very much true. I wasn't living because I wasn't growing. I wasn't putting myself out there for opportunities. So something that really resonates with me there. As well as in chapter one, we talked about internal self-talk. This as well was something that I have been working on. Um, when I wasn't doing really well mentally, it was a very negative self talk, very harmful as well. I just really couldn't see myself accomplishing the goals that I had, as well as I kind of viewed myself very negatively. This has changed over time and it's taken a lot of growth to change this mindset. But one of the ways that kind of helped was just me seeing just these small changes of who I was, now from who I was when I wasn't doing very mentally well, and just seeing those small little differences in how I act or how I maybe approach um, projects or something. It's just seeing those differences really has allowed me to have a more positive internal self talk about myself. When looking into chapter two, we first talked about habit loops and reinforcement. With this one habit loop and kind of reinforcement of behavior that I tried to do, that really helped was putting away my phone or putting it away in another room when I was eating. Um, Really, when I had my phone while I was eating, I was very distracted, always on it, and not very much present or engaged in the show, or just taking time to just relax after a long day. I noticed that when I did have my phone away from me and I was able to just watch my show and eat, I felt more I felt calmer. I felt that my mind was finally able to stop racing to all the things that I maybe need to do tomorrow. I was just able to be present in the moment and enjoy the show, my dinner, and kind of just feel like I took a really big breath in and big breath out and just felt a lot calmer. Um, Also with chapter two, we talked about daily practices. And for this, we did a gratitude journal. Um, with the gratitude journal, I noticed that days that I would write something down, I would kind of realize how much growth I've had as a person. Um, I can be super down or harsh on myself at times, and that is something I'm still working on. But the gratitude journal made me realize the important things about my life and really how much my life has changed from now to a year ago. I saw a lot of positive changes and I had a lot more to be grateful for. Um, and that just really just created a lot of just self positiveness or positivity. Um, as well as this quote, I definitely do resonate with. Gratitude is a way for people to appreciate what they have instead of always reaching for something new in the hope that will make them happier. And that I really do resonate with that. I think a lot of times when I was not mentally well, I was always reaching for something new or thinking that something new or something changing would allow me to feel better. When really especially now in my life, I have a lot to be grateful for, and I'm grateful for how I really have clarity on what my degree is and where I want to go, and just having that gratitude definitely makes me more like appreciative of where I've come from. Going now into chapter 3, we talk about belonging and social circles, and social connection, as well as a sense of belonging, has always been very important for my physical and mental health. I definitely can see patterns in my life of times like COVID, as well as when I was super depressed and self isolating. Those times when those social connections weren't as strong, I mental health really suffered. Um, but I also have to be more proactive. And what does that mean? That means I have to keep in touch with my friends, especially now that I'm out here in Minnesota. That just means calling them more often, texting them more often, playing games with them more often, just to really help and ensure that I still have that sense of social connections. We also talked about in chapter 3 emotional support systems. This we went into the 3 types. And really, with here, I'll talk about one of the support systems um, that I do kind of feel like is a bit lacking is informational support, excuse me. Um, this is kind of just more so getting, I guess, more clarity with school and feeling like I have um, people that I can go to talk about that, but it's definitely something I'm in the midst of improving. For the last chapter, chapter 4, I talked about community well-being and collective happiness. And for me, really, I think for me to have a greater collective amount of happiness is that, especially out here in Minnesota, I have to be willing to put myself in more uncomfortable situations. And what does that mean? That means that when I hear people talking about self-interests and things that I really care about, instead of just not joining the conversation, it's joining the conversation. It's putting myself out there to try to make new connections here in Minnesota, which I really think I can do and will really help me feel more connected to this community. Um, and the last point was future vision and planning. And for here, it's just taking 2 main concepts from this class, which is practicing gratitude or micro gratitude, as well as celebrating my small wins. I think by doing these 2 things, it could really help me feel more positive about myself, really help me in tough moments in my life where things get turbulent or chaotic. And I think by just having these 2 things will be able to calm me down and settle me down during those turbulent times to understand what I'm grateful for, as well as celebrating these small wins. I think will just help me get to where I want to go, which is to finish up my degree within a year and a half.